Welcome to Super Science University Bhagavad-Gita, which only can fulfill any of your wishes, aka the real Santa, and it will give you permanent happiness and your freedom in the end. And it is the permanent solution to any of your problems. The highest, most prime, secret, and the only complete knowledge, which is the source of everything and it answers every possible question. So, what does it mean by complete knowledge? It means it will explain everything to you, including bad and good. What is bad for you in some way may not be a definition of bad in another person's point of view. It depends on your nature. These good and bad are the definitions that were put in your mind via society, which are not real. So, after complete knowledge, it's your choice whether you choose good or bad because you can't go against your nature. So, Gita doesn't bind you, but it will give you the complete rule. If you choose this path, this will happen because it's just a consequence. If you don't trust the consequence of a path, you can go against it and then see the results yourself. What will happen? So you can check yourself. Some may have this doubt like, why in the world would I follow someone else's rule? So don't follow, since Gita is just complete knowledge without any compulsions that forces you to follow any path. No, you are free to choose according to your nature. Funny part is the rules you are reading, one day you will realize that it's your own rules. You designed it, and yet you can be out of them so that they don't compel you. Take an example of a football match. One person explains to you all the rules of the game before playing, yet some people may not follow and cheat and are able to win as well. But life's game is very complex. You will re enter the game again and again unless you follow the rules and play well and win to be your own boss with a safe journey of self improvement, or you go against it completely and enjoy according to your own thinking, but later be ready to suffer the consequences. You can't refuse in the end that I don't want to take charge of my actions. The best example to explain this scenario is of demons Madhu and Ketab. They did something bad that they realized later on. Then there were two options available for them to choose to improve their history of bad deeds. First was a long path of self improvement, and then second was the shortcut, being the very ugly path. They said we don't want the long path, not because it's long, because their natural instinct was of bad nature. So they made the right choice because they didn't fake it. In the end, everything becomes a null, a zero. The only difference is in the journey. So, those demons, Madhu and Katab, they were given the choice. So, they chose the path, not Vishnu. So, it's a freedom. So, it depends upon your nature. So, but you have to choose the path that is according to your own nature. Don't go for the shortcut just because it's the shortcut. Let's continue. Some journeys may seem tough at the start, but believe me, that would make you stronger in the end and would prove to be a nectar. All the followers of Shiva, including Ravana and the other demons, have really enjoyed every material aspect of nature, all the rich pleasures, and the opposite of Vishnu followers, including Prahlada and Dhruva, have faced so much trouble in their lives. So now I will continue with my last lecture. It will be formal and scattered. It will be formed and scattered. That ego of I can be burnt and drowned. A fire can be found that burns the ego. A water can be found that drowns the ego. A sword can be found that cuts the ego. Hence, let go of the ego. The ego has nothing to do with the soul. not even remotely. Whatever remains behind you apart from the I is the soul. But we have never seen anything inside us except the I. Whenever we have seen something, I am present. Whenever we have thought about something, I am present. I am present everywhere inside. We live so densely around the I that we never see the ocean that stands behind the I. And we also feel elated after listening to Krishna when we hear that the soul cannot be burnt or our spine straightens. We think I cannot be burnt. When we hear that the soul will not die, we become assured within that I will not die. That is why when a man starts growing old, he starts reading the Gita more. When death starts coming near, he starts feeling like understanding Krishna's word. Death starts shaking the mind. So the mind wants to understand, wants to believe that there is someone inside me who will not die, so that I can deny death. So he gets more closer to Krishna's words. That is why young people are not seen in the temples, mosques, gurdwaras, because death still seems to be a little far away. There is not so much fear. Feet do not tremble yet. Old people are seen. There is only one reason why old people gather around religion in the whole world. That when I come close to death, I want to know some assurance, some support, some trust, some promise that no, I will be able to deny death, that I will survive even beyond death. Someone should say that you will not die, some authority, some proof, some scripture. That is why the fundamental reason for a theist who become a theist in old age is not the search for truth. The fundamental reason is to avoid fear, and that is why the so-called theism is in the world is not built around God, but around fear. And if there is a God for that theism, then it is a form of fear. It is not different from it. It is a protection, a security against fear. So when Krishna is saying this, understand one thing very clearly, that you cannot be burnt. Do not fall into this illusion. There is not much difficulty in this. Go home and put your hand in the fire and see. Then Krishna will appear to be completely wrong. You will find it to be absolutely wrong. Read the Gita and put your hand in the fire and see if you can burn or not. Read the Gita and take a dip in the water and see, then you will know whether you can drown or not. But Krishna is not wrong. Krishna is not talking about the one who drowns in water. Krishna is not talking about the one who burns in fire. But do you know of any such element within you that does not burn in fire, doesn't drown in water? If you do not know, then do not be in a hurry to accept Krishna. Search. You will find the formula he is talking about. A question has been asked. It has been asked that even if the soul does not travel, if the subtle body, the physical body travel, then also the cooperation of the soul is there. The soul does co-opt. It refuses to cooperate, then the journey will not be possible. So the soul does co-opt. If it refuses to cooperate, then the journey will not be possible. So how come? It is important to understand this also on two levels. There are two types of cooperations in this world. One, what the scientists call catalytic cooperation, what the scientists call catalytic agent. It is appropriate to understand that. There is cooperation in which we participate. There is a cooperation in which we have to be partners. There is another cooperation in which presence is just enough, just the presence. The sun rose in the morning, the flower in your garden bloomed. The sun does not even know that it made this flower bloom. The sun has not risen to make this flower bloom. If this flower was not there, there would have been no obstacle in the rising of the sun.